Hi, everyone. Welcome to Great CEOs. I'm Pam Singleton, and I'm your host today. We're here with another great CEO, Mike Schroeder, CEO and founder of Roundstone Insurance. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Pam? Thank you for having me today.
Hey, thanks for being here. We'd like to get to know you, who you are, who your company, what all about your company, and so in a few sentences, tell us about that.
I'm a Cleveland, Ohio guy. I've been here almost my whole life. About 10 years, I travel around the country doing different things, but I've been in insurance my whole professional career. And about, 15 years ago, I started Roundstone Insurance. I've always had a focus on self-insurance and captive insurance, and Roundstone was the first company that focused on health insurance in a captive setting. And today, that's kind of morphed into the solution we have, which is essentially to deliver a better alternative for health insurance to the middle market. Been doing it for 15 years, do business all over the United States.
Mm-hmm. So you go up against some big boys out there. You've got the you call them the BUCAs, the Blue Crosses, Blue Shields, and other captive insurance providers. So why do you win clients? What's your competitive advantage?
We help the middle market control costs over the long term. And so, health insurance doesn't have to increase every year if you work with us. And that's our competitive advantage. A lot of middle market companies do recognize that the Fortune 5 is not seeing a double-digit increase every year, but they don't know how to do that themselves. And with our funding approach and our solutions, they're able to do that. That's how we get clients.
Behind the scenes, you provide an awful lot of analysis and assistance to your clients. Tell us about that.
Well, one of the big differences we provide in that traditional insurance market of the BUCAs is transparency, is the information. We actually share the claim information with the employer so they can take corrective action and control their costs. And we have a whole data analytics team and solution that makes it easy for these employers to gain access to that. And then we also have solutions or strategies that once they know what the issue is, we can deliver, cost saving strategies to them.
You can't fix it until you know what the problem is. So that's a tremendous advantage. We talk a lot about recurring revenue, how important it is for the stability of your business and planning. How much of your business recurs every year?
Well, in insurance, if you do a good job and you take care of your customers, they stay with you and they renew every year. And we do a real good job of that. And we have over 90% of our revenue is recurring. And, that's a nice feature of our business, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. So it's not contractual. You have to earn that business every year by the service you provide.
Exactly. Every year they come up for renew and they have a chance to go somewhere else if they don't like what we've been doing for them. But fortunately, we have happy customers. We deliver on our promise and they manage their costs better, and our renewal rates reflect that. We have long-term customers.
Very good. So what would you say the one point of constraint is in the business? So the one thing that if you could change it, wave your magic wand, what would you do that would allow you to grow faster?
I was just speaking about this with one of our new salespeople this morning. And, we've been doing this for 15 years. But believe it or not, to the insurance agent community and certainly to the employer community, it's to some extent still a new idea. Mm-hmm. And the idea of self-funding for the middle market, utilizing a pooled or captive approach, for many, they didn't know it was out there. They don't know it exists. So we have to spend a tremendous amount of time educating the marketplace. We've been doing it for a long time, and we continue to do it. And we hopefully have gotten better at it over time. But, if there's one thing I could change, it would be just somehow to let the middle market and the advisor or broker community become better educated and informed about our strategy. You do not have to accept year-over-year cost increases in your health insurance. And I wish I could get that message out even broader than we currently share.
Well, it's scary to change what you're doing, especially when it impacts so many people and families.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of that in COVID. There's some, you know, businesses that during this pandemic, they respond by sort of not wanting to change anything, even though it's a wonderful opportunity to really fix some things and take advantage of the current environment. But yeah, we see that change is scary for some folks, but you know, you're making things better. And, you know, and I always try to equate it. What do you do with your other supply chain? You know, you look for ways to improve those costs and that value. And you should do the exact same thing with health insurance. Shouldn't be any different.
I know a lot of CEOs brace every year. CEOs and CFOs brace every year for the premium increase. So it's good to know that it
Yeah,
doesn't.
well, imagine if you didn't have to worry about the renewal. You knew what your costs were ahead of time. You knew where it was going. You knew it wasn't going to be some crazy increase in rates. And, you know, we eliminate that kind of uneasy feeling every year. For most of us, our renewals are a non-event. It's because they've already seen what their costs are. They know where they're going. It's not the stressful circumstance they typically experience in the past.
That takes a lot of angst out of making the decision. So, Mike, how many hours a week do you work, and where do you focus most? How do you allocate your time?
You know, I used to work a lot more. I'll say that up front because I've really taken to heart the whole CEO idea of CEOs being lazy. And I don't really work that hard as much as I used to. I was trying to figure it out. I probably work about, I don't know, 6 hours a day. So maybe 30 hours a week. And I focus on my team, trying to make sure I have the best team. And I obviously focus on if I see something that's a problem or not working well, I'll jump in and spend some time there. But when things are working well, and you know, for the most part, as I build my team, I don't put more than 30 hours into it. Now, I'm like all business owners. You know, some folks will say, well, you're really working all the time. And there's some truth to that. I mean, I could be sitting watching a football game on a Saturday, and if something pops into my head, I might grab my laptop or something. But you know, and when I really think about it, I'm driving home a lot of days at 4 o'clock, and I never did that in the beginning of my career. Never.
Well, that's terrific. When you apply your time where it's where it's best focused to get the strategic actions done, that's the most important thing, and it frees you up to do a lot of other stuff. So name just one major responsibility you delegated to somebody else.
We're going through a cybersecurity audit, and I delegated that to someone else. Normally, I would have been front and center of engaging this consultant to try to hack into us and manage that process, and I delegated that.
Very good. So, what are one or two things that you've learned over the years that are really central to your approach to being a CEO?
I mean, I'm a believer in this idea that you don't equally allocate your time. I probably used to do that, and I did everything. And when stuff is not broken, I don't spend a lot of time messing around with it. I really focus in on those areas that I think can be improved upon or that can help us grow quicker. So that is certainly something I've learned over the past couple of years. I've also learned that, you know, your team is about as important as it gets, and you better have the right people in the seats. And as a CEO, that's probably your number one job. And so that's another thing I have learned. And then I've learned to maybe not personalize everything. This is my business. This is my baby. I started it. I was an executive at a public company, and I didn't get as attached to those outcomes and to that business the way I did my own. But over the last 15 years, I've gotten better at sort of distancing myself and not taking everything so personal, you know. Now,
Well,
you know, whether that's just because, you know, maybe we're not in the survival mode anymore. I don't know. I like to think we're always in the survival mode, but that's just something. I don't take things as personal. And so I'm not as maybe as intense as I was 15 years ago.
Really? Wow. Okay. So what do you do for fun, Mike? This is a great time to ask you.
Oh, I love to golf. I wish I was better at it, but I do love to walk. I love being anything outside. I'm in. So I love to golf. We live on Lake Erie here in Northeast Ohio, and so I love to get out on the lake and go fishing or just cruising around. It's a beautiful lake, and I do a lot of hiking. I just got back from a hiking trip out west, and so anything outside, count me in, including eating dinners and things like that. But yeah, I like to be active. I like to be outside, and
I'll remember that for our next meeting.
yeah, oh yeah. Hey, it's worked. That's a great characteristic to have during a pandemic, right?
It's perfect. It's perfect. All right, Mike Schroeder of Roundstone Insurance. Thank you for your time. You've got so much momentum behind you, and it's a really timely message to that healthcare costs don't have to go up every year. So you're on track. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us, and come back to again for another great CEO podcast.
Thank you.